Have you ever just stared at your bank account, maybe after a long month of saving, and thought to yourself, why is this so hard? Well, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to break down one of the biggest paradoxes in personal finance, why getting to that first $100,000 feels like an impossible grind. But everything after that, well, it seems to get a whole lot easier. I mean, this quote just nails it, right? It perfectly captures that feeling of frustration. You're putting in all this work, all this effort, and the progress just feels painfully slow. But I'm here to tell you that feeling isn't just in your head. There is a real mathematical and psychological reason for it, and once you understand it, everything changes. Okay, so let's get right into it. The 100K paradox. It's a real thing. The financial game you're playing before you hit that milestone is fundamentally different from the one you'll be playing after you cross that line. The rules literally change. This is probably the best way to think about it. Before you hit 100 grand, it's like you're playing a video game on the hardest possible setting with a broken controller. Every single move is a struggle, but once you hit that milestone, bam. It's like you've suddenly unlocked easy mode and somebody just handed you all the cheat codes. The game itself shifts in your favor. So why does it feel so agonizingly slow at the start? Well, let's look at the cold, hard numbers. Because the math behind this is what makes the beginning of the journey feel like such a grind. And here's the absolute key. In the beginning, there's no magic. There's no secret sauce. Every single dollar that goes into your savings or investment account is a dollar that you personally earned and made the conscious decision not to spend. You are doing 100% of the heavy lifting. It is the pure manual labor phase of building wealth. Let's put some real numbers on this to see why it feels so discouraging. Let's say you work your tail off. You scrape together $5,000 and you invest it. You get a solid 10% return for the year. And at the end of that year, you've made $500. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's hardly life-changing, right? It's so easy to look at that and think, is all this sacrifice really worth it? This is the exact point where most people just give up. But watch what happens. Let's fast forward. You stick with it, you keep grinding, and now you have $100,000 invested. That very same 10% return doesn't give you $500 anymore. It gives you $10,000 a year. Suddenly your money is now making a real significant income all by itself. It's like you've hired a little employee who works for you 24/7, never complains, and never takes a vacation. The math has totally flipped. And this kicks off something called the acceleration effect. It's this incredible positive feedback loop. When you start to see your money generate real money, like enough to cover a car payment or a vacation, your whole mindset shifts. You get way more motivated to save and invest because the reward isn't some far-off abstract idea anymore. It's right there. Success starts breeding more success. Okay, so if the math is that simple, why isn't everyone wealthy? Well, because the numbers, believe it or not, are the easy part. The much bigger challenge, the real boss level, is navigating all the psychological traps that are designed to keep you stuck. Let's just be brutally honest. The number one enemy here is our own brain's desire for instant gratification. I mean, we live in a world where you can get anything you want delivered to your door in an hour. So the idea of sacrificing something today for a potential benefit years or even decades from now, it feels totally unnatural. And that desire for now leads us right into the lifestyle trap. This isn't about one big, dumb purchase. It's about thousands of little, seemingly harmless spending decisions that just add up. You know, think of it like this. You're trying to fill a swimming pool, but every day someone comes along and drills a few more tiny holes in the bottom. It just makes progress feel impossible. And these are the leaks we're talking about, right? The daily coffee, the constant takeout, the car payment that's just a little bit too high. On their own, you can justify any one of them. It's just $5. But you add them all up, and that is the financial quicksand that keeps people stuck, living paycheck to paycheck, always wondering where all their money went. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. We know the math is tough at first, and our brains are working against us. So what's the solution? Let's talk about the plan. And I'll warn you, it's not a secret stock tip or some kind of magic bullet. It's practical, it's actionable, and it's kind of boring. This right here is the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to hear. Building real, lasting wealth isn't about some exciting overnight crypto win. It is about making thousands of small, boring, disciplined choices day after day, week after week, until they finally start to snowball into something massive. So here it is, the 4-step framework. First, you have to track every single penny. For at least a month, you need a brutally honest picture of where your money is actually going. Second, make strategic cuts. And I mean strategic. The goal isn't to make yourself miserable. It's to cut the mindless, habitual spending while keeping the things that genuinely bring you joy. Third, focus on increasing your income. Don't just get stuck on saving pennies. Think about how you can earn more dollars. And finally, number 4, you invest the difference. You put that extra cash to work in simple, reliable, boring assets, like broad market index funds. The plan is simple. The discipline is the hard part. All right, now let's talk about the good stuff. What happens when you actually stick to that boring plan and you finally cross that incredible 6-figure threshold? This, my friends, is where the game truly changes and the fun really starts. You start to build something called wealth momentum. And it's so much more than just the money in your account. It's the confidence that comes with it. It's this financial cushion that allows you to stop playing defense with your money, always worrying about the next emergency. And you can finally start playing offense, actively looking for opportunities to grow.
Let me give you a perfect example of this shift. Imagine a buddy calls you up with an amazing investment opportunity. Maybe it's a duplex that's for sale way below market value. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, that conversation ends pretty quick, right? It's, wow, sounds great. Good luck with that. But if you have $100,000 sitting in the bank, the conversation becomes, okay, tell me more. Let's talk numbers. You can finally say yes to opportunities that were completely invisible to you before.
Your entire psychology around money just transforms. When the stock market has a bad week and your portfolio drops $5,000, you don't panic. You see it as part of the game, maybe even a chance to buy more. Your risk tolerance goes up, not because you're being reckless, but because you have a stable base to operate from. You stop just thinking about next month's bills and you start planning for next decade's goals. Your whole focus shifts from just surviving to actually thriving. Now, here's a little warning that most people won't give you. As you start to get more disciplined with your money, you are going to face social pressure. It's almost guaranteed. Friends, family, they mean well, but they'll start to question your choices. They might tell you you're missing out or you need to live a little because you're not spending money the way they are. And when you hear that old saying, money isn't everything, I want you to remember this quote. Look, it's easy to say money doesn't matter when you have enough of it. But a lack of money affects everything. Where you can live, the food you can eat, the healthcare you can get, the opportunities you can give your kids. Getting control of your finances is really about getting control of your life. So if you're in that early grind right now, if you're pushing that boulder up the hill on roller skates, I really want you to hear this. That struggle is not a sign that you're failing. It's the exact opposite. It's the sign that you're doing it right. It's like the burn you feel in your muscles when you're working out. It's uncomfortable, for sure, but it is the only signal that you're actually making progress and getting stronger. Because ultimately, it all comes down to this. The math works every time. The opportunities are out there. The knowledge is more accessible than it's ever been. Every single person who's built wealth started right where you are now, with almost nothing. The only difference is that they started, and they just didn't stop. The future version of you is counting on the decisions you make today.